Hey, everybody, welcome to the Rolls By Podcast. I'm Link Machine. With me is
Diablo Frank.
Mr. Fix-It.
I'm sorry, one more time.
Diablo Frank.
Mr. Fix-It.
And we went to go see The Last Jedi, a Star Wars
Odyssey.
epic Odyssey. Let's talk about like the 8th movie out of the 9. They're going to be Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and cast carry a bunch of CGI and a cantina and so probably.
I see how excited you are, Mac.
Anyway, so how'd you guys go see this movie? This was we saw this one all separately. Frank, how'd you see it?
I'd been hearing that this was I think it was Chris Gore of Film Threat that said that this was the best Star Wars since 1983. And I'd heard a whole bunch of people talk about how there's so many twists and turns and there's so many spoilers potentially. So I figured better go ahead and see it on opening night. Paquita wanted to see it as well because she'd like The Force Awakens. She's watched it on cable a number of times. So we went to the theater. We saw it with pretty much the opening crowd, I think, in our area.
How about you, Mr. Fix-It?
I went on Thursday.
I just saw. Yep. I saw it today.
Was it packed?
Yeah. In fact, we would have gone to any other showing except there were no seats available, including, if you can believe this, an 8:45 a.m. showing was completely sold out except for a few singles. And when I say few, I mean like maybe 4. And then the entire front row where like you get like radiation poisoning and fucking like you get like sunblock before the show because you're so close to the screen. Those were the only seats left. And it was like that for every showing up until so we got a couple there. And they actually ended up being pretty darn good seats. But other than that, the parking lot was crazy full too on a Sunday. I mean, it was a lot of people went to go see this movie. A lot.
Well, it's like, because I told Paquita that we were going to go ahead and see it that Thursday night because I didn't want to have to deal with spoiler stuff. She went ahead and started checking for tickets earlier in the week. And basically we were down to like the last few seats, at 2 different scrings. This is the Empire of the new trilogy. Dark. So you were going to go dark, right?
Feels like it.
So how do we want to do this? Do we want to talk about, can you just run down general plot of what happens from where it kind of picks up from the last one? How did the last one end? How did The Force Awakens end?
That's where Rey is handing Luke the lightsaber.
Yeah, okay, that part I remember.
Island.
But like, where did everybody's stories end?
Here's
like,
a very important thing.
Han was dead.
Han died, right?
No, here's a very important thing.
What's his name was in a coma.
Finn?
Yeah, Finn was in a coma.
Why was he in a coma?
Because Kylo Ren had stabbed him or slashed him.
Oh, because the forest fight shit?
Yeah.
Okay. Kylo got scarred up in the fight, right?
Yep.
Ray they sent to whatchamacallit. Okay. Because I honestly, after the movie started, I was like, holy shit, other than her handing the lightsaber to Luke, I don't remember anything about that last movie. I've not seen it since we walked out of that theater, dude. I was like, damn, I probably should have brushed up or something. Because like home dude's in the water suit, and I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. What happened to him again? I don't remember. It didn't really matter, but.
Well, no, dude. I mean, let's be honest. This movie got fucking weird really fast, so you could have walked in cold and you would have been all right.
Yeah, I mean, whatever was happening in the last movie is either explained or gets resolved so quickly in this one it doesn't really matter. But
or they totally forget about it.
Right. So yeah, do we want to run down? Is there a way to generally just kind of quickly recap? We're gonna do one of our new fast recaps for this movie.
Okay.
So, well, I don't want to do it.
I think you just did it, man. Tell you the truth.
No, I didn't. I recapped the last movie.
Oh, you want to recap this movie?
Yeah. Yes, the movie we're reviewing / talking about. Let's recap that movie.
Luke's an asshole. Doesn't want...
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. All right, because this is
all right. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So let me see. There are 2 storylines taking place basically. One of Rey and Luke on the island with her kind of doing this. Teach me, and he's like, no. And she's like, teach me. He's like, no. And she's like, teach me. He's like, no. And then the other side, it's the last of the rebels are being chased by the Empire.
No, the First Order.
Oh, I'm sorry. The New Order. As we coined on the last one. They're being chased by literally the new wave band, New Order.
They did look kind of emo.
Yeah. And it's sort of weird how it's so. I guess that they do like a light speed. They go to hyperspace or whatever, right? But it turns out that
they're tracked. The First Order's able to track them. Able to
track them through light space or whatever. So they don't have enough fuel to do another light space jump or they only have enough fuel to do one jump. But so instead they're just running very slowly away from each other. Like it's like a fat guy running away from another fat guy, but the fat guy in the lead is just slightly slimmer. And so they're just moving very slowly, but one of them is just slightly faster. It
was a very awkward car chase.
Yeah, it was like, you know what it was? It was very much like the O.J. Simpson AC. the rebels are in a white Ford Bronco. While the LAPD, you know what? That's the whole movie. I just realized this entire film is an allegory for the 1994 O.J. Simpson freeway chase by the LAPD. So, and that's basically, so as that's going on, they're trying to figure out how the hell to get the Empire, or the New Order. New Order off of the Rebels' tail while Rey is trying to get Luke to sort of...
She wants him to be like a martyr.
She's trying to get trained / convince him to come help. Yeah. Right. So, and then that sort of... I don't know. Are we spoiling this whole fucking thing? It doesn't matter. Okay. Anyway.
It doesn't matter, dude.
Those are the two basic storylines throughout the movie until they merge at the end. So, I'm sorry. Was that the worst recap we've ever done? Just go Google 1994 O.J. Simpson freeway chase, and that's really the whole fucking movie. So, anyway, guys.
No, I think you nailed it pretty good on that one.
Oh yeah, and then also there's the Finn and this Asian girl.
Oh, the Vegas trip.
Go take a Vegas trip, and then they go to Vegas Cantina, and was that Benicio del Toro?
Yeah.
Or was it a guy who just kind of looked like him? I couldn't tell if that was Benicio del Toro. Frank, where are you? Help us.
No, I was trying to get in earlier, and I've noticed that when we do these phone conversations that Fix-It can't hear me, so we end up talking over each other. So I've kind of just been hanging back because I also don't really care very much about this movie.
Yeah. He and I actually made a pact to just blatantly ignore you and make you think that we can't hear you. And it's working.
I'll help. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, was that Benicio del Toro?
Yes.
Fucking weird. There's something he didn't look right. I kept looking every now and then, like, oh, sure, that's Benicio del Toro.
I think he lost some
Maybe it's because the last time I saw him, he was the collector. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think he lost some weight. He looks a little leaner than he does in the Heineken commercial.
Yeah, that's the Heineken commercial. That's where I keep seeing. He doesn't look anything like that. Anyway, it was very weird. But yeah, so Benicio del Toro, they get to because they think that he's on this casino planet. He offers to help them because they think that the lead ship is what's being able to track them through hyperspace. So they're going to just go aboard the ship, turn off the hyperspace tracker, and then that will allow the rebels to hyperspace away and they can be free. Which that plan completely falls to shit and actually gets most of the people killed. Anyway, and then Luke shows up, kind of saves them, and they escape. So that's the movie, kind of, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So what do you guys think?
I want to hear what Frank thinks.
Frank, just go, Frank.
So here's the thing. I had no intention of covering this particular episode of Star Wars. I was just going to leave this alone, do something else. Part of it is just I've had too much going on this month. I've just kind of given up on doing any kind of quality podcasting. So it's perfect that I don't give a shit about this movie. I made a point though of listening to previous episodes of our Rolled Spine specials where we covered Star Wars, and I keep thinking back to Martin Gray's words for us to please stop covering Star Wars. And I have to agree with Martin Gray because I have nothing more to say about Star Wars, even though there's a new movie. There's nothing that I can say about this movie for the most part that I haven't already said. I'm not a Star Wars fan anymore. These movies are not for me. I don't care. Me and Paquita watched the movie. We were both bored out of our fucking minds. It was a really long 2.5 hours, and I don't want to see the next one. I think this is the one that's going to finally break me. And it's not that it's a terrible movie. I just don't give a shit about anything that's happening on the screen. I don't care about Star Wars, the universe. I don't care anymore. It's just not for me.
How about you, Mr. Fix-It?
Okay. Well, I am still a Star Wars fan, and I walked in there expecting. I remember me and Frank had spoken about this earlier. He was like, "Yeah, man, this is the Jedi. This one's supposed to be the Empire. You know, the good one, the dark one." Which I was kind of hoping it wasn't, because I was like, I don't want to see Empire again. I've already seen it. So when I sat there in the theater full of people, bunch of normies, watching the movie, and the first part where what's his name, the pilot,
Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron, yeah.
Shout out Poe Dameron.
When they start doing that weird little back and forth, I kind of got the vibe from that minute, like, this movie's gonna be really fucking weird. Like, they're doing like a whole shtick about, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. I was like, okay.
I thought that whole scene, the first thing I thought of was is Diablo Frank directing this movie? Because nobody can fucking hear each other.
I just thought it was kind of weird. And then I was still on board. I was like, okay, it's going to be a Star Wars movie. It started feeling very Star Wars. So I was like, okay, I already know what's coming. And then they got really fucking weird when Princess Leia did her whole, Star-Lord, Super Alien spacewalk thing. And then
let's describe. Hold on. Let's describe that scene. So like they're attacking the main ship. They fucking blow the bridge up. Princess Leia gets violently sucked out into space, completely crystallizes over with ice, and then floats back to the ship. And they let her in, and she's like, okay.
Her hand wiggled.
Yeah.
I think she created like a bubble around her because it looked like a bubble or something.
Dude. And I mean, I don't know how else to describe that. It was just very, very.
And then she Mary Poppin that shit where she like flew back to the ship.
Yes, she fucking Mary Poppin to that shit. That's exactly what she did.
And I was just kind of like, and I won't lie. like, at that moment, sitting in the theater, I'm like, well, Frank's gonna lose his shit right here. Like, Frank just lost his shit in the movie right here. So I sat there for a moment, I watched it, I'm like, you know what? This movie's about to get really fucking weird. I'm on board with it. Like, let's get fucking weird. Like, I don't want a regular Star Wars movie. I want something that's fucking weird. They accomplished that. It got really fucking weird. So I enjoyed it.
So,
I think that
go ahead.
trying to show that Leia was force adapt, and that's how she was able to survive that happening. I also think it was interesting. They made a point of showing that Kylo Ren hesitated to blow her out into space, so they were trying to show that he still had humanity. I think that was part of the point, was to show that he still potentially has a redemption arc, or he has a redemption arc coming. But I think what happened there is I think that was the consequence of Carrie Fisher's unfortunate passing. Is that whole sequence and the things that come after it was a way of filling the hole of her inability to do things.
Well, no, to me, it felt more like, because let's be honest, we all thought she was going to die that day.
Oh, totally.
The actress is no longer here. This is the way they're going to take her out. So I was like, I'm waiting for that to happen. And she doesn't die. And I'm like, wow, they're really fucking with me here. Because, like, how else could you not give her, like, a more respectable death? Like, she's murdered. You assume by her son, only either show that he still has humanity or he's going dark. And they don't kill her. So I'm just like, okay. And they're going to put her in a coma. So I was thinking, okay, well, she's going to die in her coma. That's kind of a sad way to do away with the princess. But the fact that she comes back again and kicks ass, I was caught off guard. Like, I really was caught off guard. I was waiting for her to the first 10 minutes of the movie she's done, and then we don't see her ever again.
Yeah, I was the same way. I thought that was for sure her. I'm like, oh, they probably had like other shit for her to do in this movie, but because she's gone, they have to get rid of her. So they're gonna have it where Kylo was gonna kill her and then didn't, but she dies anyway, and then he's got to kind of cope with the fact that he was gonna pull the trigger, didn't, and she died anyway. And then, yeah, you're right, dude. It got super fucking weird. So I agree with Mr. Fix-It. This movie was fucking weird, dude.
Well, I think it's got the same problem that The Force Awakens is that they had to work around Harrison Ford's injury in the first movie, and so you could see where there was a lot of scenes left in that one. And then this one, you've got the Carrie Fisher hole, and so they had to fill that with all kinds of bizarro stuff, because I'm sure it's a movie. They filmed it out of sequence. They had all that stuff. They had all that stuff at the back end. They didn't want to cut any of that stuff with her and Luke Skywalker at the end of the movie, so they had to find a way of connecting the pieces that they had together. And I'm sure the weirdness y'all are speaking of is them trying to figure out how they're going to keep all the stuff they'd already filmed with Carrie Fisher.
No way, dude.
No.
I don't see how her dying in real life meant that they should have her sucked out into space, turn into an ice zombie, and then force Mary Poppins her way back into the ship, but then goes into a coma and is in a coma for a few scenes. I don't see how her passing away may have been like, okay, we have a few scenes we can't do now, so we need to put her in a coma. Yeah. That is no excuse to have her sucked out into space and ice zombie her way back to the ship. That's got nothing to do with Carrie Fisher passing away. And if they say it is, then they are some weird folks.
No, emotional manipulation. It's just like you said. We all thought that, oh shit, this is where Carrie Fisher's going to pass. Oh no, this is terrible. And then she survives because they had all these other scenes, so they're fucking with us because we're supposed to be so happy and so grateful when she turns back up again at the end of the movie.
No, but she didn't actually die in an accident on set being sucked out into space. Right,
that was CGI.
I don't know what you're talking about with her.
All that was CGI to cover for her absence for the majority of the movie, while still keeping all her scenes.
I understand. I'm just saying they could have had a piece of metal hit her in the head and knock her into a coma when the bridge exploded. They didn't have to have her sucked out into space and then. Come on, dude! Like, are you kidding me?
They wanted her to have a big moment. They wanted her to have a big moment, and also, again, they really did a good job of selling. Oh shit! I think she's going to die here. So, if you just gotten whacked,
that is really weird. No, using a real person passing away as an excuse to quote unquote try and fuck with us by making us think she's going to die, but no, she's not dead. That's really weird. I totally agree with Mr. Fix-It. Nothing about that scene had to occur. It was so strange. I don't think saying, oh, well, she died. Oh, like they had to have her sucked out into space and then live as a zombie briefly and crystallize with ice and then fly back to the ship. Oh, well, they had to do that because she died in real life. What are you talking about?
But I think they were giving her a moment to show that she had progressed with the Force. I think he wanted to give her an opportunity to be seen as, having some equality to her father and her brother.
But you got to understand, they've never alluded to that ever in anything.
No, there is another. There is another. And a lot of people wanted to see her bust some Force out. She never got the chance before. She didn't get the chance to Force Awakens, so they gave her a posthumous moment.
So did she train between these movies? Like, was there a montage they should have put in between these movies where like she's lifting rocks and shit, like when no one's looking, she's like, just playing with the Force when that makes no sense.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
She obviously did some. She had
weird. I think they wanted it to get weird.
Maybe.
I think they knew what the fans were already expecting, and they were like, "Fuck it, we're gonna go the opposite direction." Because there was a lot of times they went the opposite direction on a lot of stuff.
And here's why I don't buy the Carrie Fisher thing. Is that was not the only really weird part of this movie. This movie was very, very strange from that weird, hello? Yeah, I want to talk to Dr. Fritz or whatever his name was. And he was like, Fritz, I'm on the phone. Okay, I'll wait. I mean, that from jump, this movie was really, really bizarre. The whole, like I said, the casino planet where they're seeing these horses enslaved in competitive horse racing, and they do this whole, we have to go free the race horses.
Oh no, not just that.
Like, what the fuck am I watching, dude?
Who's in the casino but war profiteers? Like, they do like this whole thing where it's like everyone here profits from war, and I'm like, what does that have to do with like?
They don't just build the bad guy ships; they build the good guy ships too. Oh my gosh! And they're enslaving these children and these horses on these racetracks, and they shock the horses to get them to go faster. We have to free these horses. This movie was really, really strange, dude, and that's why I think the Princess Leia, Mary Poppins Force thing was going to be there. That was probably in there from jump, in my opinion.
You think so? I think so.
Maybe her extended coma was because they had some scenes they didn't have for her. But I think that I'm starting to think now that the vast majority of her scenes in this movie were just already filmed, and that this was mostly her. I didn't see a CG Leia. I mean, did you notice an extremely CG Leia throughout this movie?
No,
I didn't. So
no, you could tell. You could tell maybe there were some scenes cut that maybe it was different dialogue, like the one where she's sitting there at the table, like waiting for them to show up. It felt weird. Like I felt like it was filmed for something else, but I could be wrong. I could be reading that wrong. It just,
I don't know. I just, again, there were so many inconsistencies in this movie that I can't totally buy that it was because Princess Leia passed away that this movie became as weird as it was. Like, there's just too much other weird stuff.
Did the weirdness bother you?
I don't know if it bothered me. Some of it kind of. Some of it was like.
Did it hamper your enjoyment of the film?
Well, honestly, man, I don't really think I really enjoyed this too much. So I think some of the weird stuff was like, I thought it was kind of interesting. Like, I guess her freezing in ice and flying back to the ship, I didn't see it coming. For sure. I enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it, but did it hurt how I felt about the film? Probably not.
Yeah.
So the whole casino trip, I could have done without that whole storyline, honestly, and it ended up really not even mattering anything. It was just like an excuse to get Phantasma or whatever her name is back in it. Phasma. It was like an excuse to get her in it, an excuse to give something for Finn to do, but like it had really nothing to do with the whole movie. I mean, you could have just had the rebels flee from the main ship and go down to the surface, and just have them chase them down. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand what it had to do with the film.
A lot of the complaints I hear is people feel when that story kicks in that the movie like drops gear. Like it's moving along and then it drops gear as soon as that story arc.
Well, I don't really think it was really in a gear until that. You know when I think when the movie really piqued my interest, and unfortunately this is really, really far into it, it's when Snoke dies.
Really?
When Snoke dies, I'm like,
I thought that was the weirdest fucking thing.
Shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then Rey and Kylo team up and start taking out all those red guard dudes. I thought that was a great scene. I thought everything about that scene was really good. Another thing super weird was the astral projection communication between Rey and Kylo. They've never done any of that shit in these movies. And I don't think they even did any. Did they do any of this in the last movie?
No.
Did they ever have these moments in the last movie?
No, these new movies seem to be creating new force powers to kind of fill in the gaps.
Because I mean, they're supposed to be an evolved level. Like I think, what do you call it? I don't know if Yoda says it to him there towards the end about how like these kids are like a different level than they're surpassing the masters or whatever. I don't know how he puts it.
Well, I like the fact that everybody's big complaint was the metachlorines or whatever.
Midichlorians, yeah.
Yeah, and they completely just when he's talking about the force, he completely just blocks that out. He's like,
I'm pretty sure in the last movie they had already done some things where they had
I don't
made you
remember that.
Because remember this was a topic when in the last movie came out where they were like they did not talk about the metachlorians. It's not a thing. They're intentionally not going to bring it up.
But see, this one they actually talked about the force, like what it feels like when you're in it. Like and they never mentioned like these little particles or anything. I thought it was a nice touch.
Well, I'm saying they didn't in the last movie either, and I believe when they asked J.J. Abrams about it, he's like, yeah, because we're not we're going to act like none of that happened. Like they're intentionally not going to talk about metachlorians and shit. Anyway, I want to get back to Rey and Kylo Ren, because did they have any moments like that in the Force Awakens?
Where they can talk to each other.
Right? They didn't, right?
Yeah, no, but other Star Wars movies they could feel each other. Like if Luke was in a ship, he could feel Vader and shit like that. But
but that's
they never like fucking put up like a phone line
where he's got like talking. Where Kylo Ren had like water on his gloves from the rain.
Yeah,
and shit. It was like,
they never did shit like that. Yeah,
like and then he like
that was on you.
She came out of a dream and was holding Freddy Krueger's glove. No, I'm sorry, it was the hat. No. So, but here's the deal. Like I thought that was really. I thought that I should have hated that, but I actually really liked that because because in these movies, none of these characters actually like spend any time with each other. So like Rey and Finn, like they didn't see each other this whole freaking movie. So you're trying to convince me that Finn's like, oh, we've got to get Rey back together. I'm like, it's a 2.5 hour long movie, and you haven't seen each other the entire film. And I don't really, so like I don't buy that whole relationship. The whole Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker stuff. Well, that all happened off camera in the space between the first 3 movies and these 3 movies. So I mean, you're just trying to tell me they hate each other and stuff that you're being very ambiguous with what actually happened. Whatever happened between Kylo Ren and his parents, none of that stuff happened. Like, you're just kind of telling me that all these people feel this way about each other.
Yeah.
But it's the Kylo Ren and Rey, by doing that astral projection conversations, I'm like, okay, you're actually developing a relationship between these 2 characters, which is nice, because I just don't feel like any of these films have that. None of these characters know each other, it seems like. I mean, they tell you they know each other, but they're never in person talking to each other. So, you know what I mean? Like shouldn't fucking Poe Dameron, shouldn't he have like a counterpart on the New Order side? Like he does, like, so if he's sort of just there and always flying ships around, like there's no antagonist opposite to these guys. I just feel like some of them should. So I actually, as much as I really don't like Rey, I don't like her. I think she's like super boring, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that actress, I'm sure she's a super nice young lady, and I'm sure she can act, but I just think this movie, this is like the most bland, she just talks, right? I just feel like she just gets on screen and talks, and I'm like, I'm not buying that you're scared, I'm not buying that you're tormented over not knowing who your parents are.
She seems very indifferent.
She does. Does she really want to get, and I think, unfortunately, I think that's the actress. I mean, it could easily be the script too, I guess, but I just don't feel like she's not making me feel like she's really, like with Luke, like, I don't think Mark Hamill's the greatest actor of all time, but like Luke was upset about his father betraying him, right? Or when he found out that Darth Vader was his father, like, but because you had a lot of that you had Vader, Luke Skywalker face to face every now and then to help kind of build that up. I just don't feel like there's any of that shit in these movies. So I liked Kylo Ren and Rey. They're going to start having this, relationship between the 2 of them, and I like that. As weird as that astral projection shit was, and we'd never seen anything like that before, I thought that actually, to me, those were the scenes of the film that I was the most locked in on, where they're actually having these conversations, and they're like, well, did you talk to Luke about what happened at the temple and all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like trying to put some seeds of doubt in her head and everything like I dug that stuff. But for the most part, like, I don't know, dude, this movie was just, I thought it was better than Force Awakens, because I thought Force Awakens was just a gross, retread action movie. It was just like some wannabe fan service. Whereas this movie actually tried to do something different.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm just not really sure I liked anything that was different about it.
I couldn't disagree more. I like that it got so weird and just different.
I mean,
I just like the fact they went in a,
like, dude, the humor was so bizarre and out of place in this movie.
I'm telling you, it was so, the minute that she did the Mary Poppins thing, I was like, I'm on board for this fucking weird trip. Let's just do this. And I was okay with it after that. I gave it a pass. There was no way anybody was going to ruin it for me. Someone was going to die of importance. I didn't know who. I thought it was Leia. She didn't die. So I was kind of like, all right, is it going to be Chewie or is it one of the droids? Like someone important has to die. So, and in the humor, you're right, was kind of weird, because I mean, I heard people generally laughing in the theater, like really loud laughs.
Really? No, nobody was. I guess people were sort of like confused. I thought the laughter in my theater was like kind of confusion. They're like, really? Is he serious that he can't hear him? And it's like, are they really doing? Are they doing a bit? Is this like a freaking bit, dude? Like, are you kidding me?
Well, like the part that people were laughing was with Chewie and those little whatever they were, the little bird thing.
Yeah, that was stupid.
People were generally laughing in the theater really loud.
I mean, there was some chuckling in mine. I don't think it was laughter.
That was there for the kids.
No, there was people laughing.
I think it worked for the kids.
At midnight, dude, there was no kids in my theater.
I know, but
it was all adults.
Yeah, but like in my screening, you did get a response to the hogs, I think they're called, whatever the hell they are. And that's there for the kids, and I think it was appropriate to have that there for the kids. It didn't do anything for me, except I did like when Chewie was eating the one, and the remainder was kind of had the quivering lip. That was cute. Yeah. Otherwise, they got on my nerves.
That was fine. I didn't have any problem with that.
But not in a big way. Just like, okay, this isn't for me. I kind of brushed them off.
Yeah.
Well, they're there to sell toys. That's the I think they're there to sell toys.
No, they're not just there to sell toys. These Star Wars movies are supposed to be kids' movies. You know what I mean? They're supposed to trend younger. So I mean, you put stuff like that in there, and yeah, sure, it'll sell toys. Maybe you can do a cartoon spinoff or some shit. But they need to have some kiddie elements to keep kids engaged. So yeah, I don't have any problem with it. I didn't particularly. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, they're there. What else?
What did you think of Mark Hamill?
I mean, I thought like I said in our last podcast, I don't really know if Mark Hamill can do voice acting. I think voice acting where you're pretending to be the Joker or whoever else he pretends to be is totally different from being live on screen and delivering lines. And I thought he had a bunch of like grunty one-liners and then I don't know, I wasn't terribly blown away by his performance, but I did want, if they were going to make, I just wish he didn't suck so bad. Like, dude, Luke Skywalker sucked. And even though they were like, oh, he cut himself off from the Force. Okay, so let him flip it back on. Let him go out in a blaze of glory. And instead he did the astral projection, Loki trick where he was like a fucking hologram the whole time. And I'm like, that's it? Like, that's all we get from our guy? Luke Skywalker's our guy. So that's his whole arc, dude? Like, that's it? They had three fucking movies about him. And then he went on and had this whole dark after story with Kylo Ren and setting up the temple, and then it burns down and he puts himself into exile. And we hear about that in a couple fucking sentences in a flashback, and then he comes back for an astral projection and he's gone. Like, fuck.
Well, I thought it was strange that Kylo Ren in his sleep. I like that aspect where it was the perceived perception of both characters, different view of that moment. They kind of created Kylo Ren. I like that.
I did like that. I like I said, and I said it about the last movie. Kylo Ren to me is
really way out of character though. Like, I get why Mark Hamill wasn't exactly, because he's kind of a dick. Like, he was just, I don't know. But I guess he kind of plays it up also because he talks about how, like, oh, everybody calls me the legend, and you know what the legend is, and he kind of downplayed his legend, which was kind of cool. But I don't know, he just kind of came off like a dick. I don't know. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, it was just weird. Like I said, it was still fucking weird.
The Kylo Ren, like, and I said it about the last movie. Kylo Ren to me is the most interesting character in this movie, in both now two movies. I want to know, why is it that Snoke had corrupted him so much that Luke Skywalker thought that he was going to have to terminate this kid in his sleep? Like, how bad was it? How did he get so bad? And now that Snoke's gone, are we ever going to really find out? Did they kind of tell us and I missed it? Like, what again, all the more important things or more interesting things that I want to know about these characters, they're not telling me. They're going to fucking casinos and horse races. And I want to know more about Kylo Ren, dude. Tell me, why the fuck was he so corrupt? How can the son of Han Solo and Princess Leia be so fucking corrupted by Snoke that Luke Skywalker was in his fucking tent getting ready to murder him?
In his sleep.
In his sleep? And he was going to kill him in his sleep. Well, let's get back to the fucking casino horse race, guys. Huh? What the fuck? Like, these are the story. They're not telling me the story that I actually want to hear. I mean, I don't know, dude. These movies are just not, they're not speaking to me. But again, I did like that. I liked that it was the two perceptions in the same event. He thought that Luke was there to kill him, and Luke was actually like, I wasn't going to do it.
It was a moment of weakness. Yeah. Although I kind of would have loved if they played up the fact that, like, maybe the dark side of the Force kind of was strong at that moment in him, and he, something, explain it. I don't think he would do it just out of the blue. Like, oh, I saw some weird shit in his head. Let me go ahead and just hack him while he's asleep.
Yeah, dude.
Without calling his mom and telling him, hey, I think there's something wrong with your kid. Without calling your dad, who's my best friend, wrong with your kid. I'm just going to kill my nephew in his sleep without telling anyone. Yeah, it seems a little weird.
It's super fucking weird. And so now the story is more, I want to see, after he attempts to murder their kid, what happens to their relationship after that? How does it tear Princess Leia and Han Solo apart? Like, all these stories that we know we're never going to freaking see because we're moving on with Ren and fucking Rey and Finn. Like, I don't care. Who fucking cares? The more interesting story to me, you're glossing over. I don't know, dude. That's what I'm just not feeling these movies, dude. I'm not feeling these characters.
Well, it's for a new generation, man. This is not our Star Wars.
Well, guess what? Their Star Wars movies fucking suck compared to ours. How about that?
Yeah, we had the prequels.
Take that, new No, that was no, sir. Those didn't happen.
Those didn't happen.
But look, this movie was still, I guess, better than it was better than any of the prequels, and it was better than The Force Awakens. But like, this is a really fucking low bar now for me. I mean, okay, it's the best one since Empire Strikes Back. Okay, that's great. Like, I
just find it weird that so many critics love it to death.
Because
I've talked to a couple of friends that are big Warsies, and they're just like, they like it, and they're like, no, it's pretty good, or they just fucking hate it.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of The Force Awakens, because this was the same thing for The Force. Everybody freaking loved Force Awakens. This shit was like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for forever. Yeah. Like, that movie, and it wasn't good at all. But Logan is kind of the same way for me, where I was hearing all these reviews like, Logan is heart wrenching. I've never seen a movie touch me like a superhero movie that just touches me like this, and it's so gritty, and oh my god. And you go and see it, and you're like, oh, okay. I mean, that was okay. Yeah. I mean, that was a pretty good movie, but where are you coming up with all these feelings that you said you had? Like, I didn't have any of that. Like, to me, like, Luke's death was so anticlimactic.
Oh yeah.
I was like, could you have had a more anticlimactic death for him, where he just sort of floats off? Like, I mean, I was expecting him to let Kylo Ren strike him down. That's where this movie's kind of grown on me, where everything we expect they didn't do. You expect Luke to have this. I thought he was going to start knocking AT-AT walkers
like have this, die at the last minute, giving everyone a chance to escape. And I'm waiting for this moment, and they do the whole hologram thing where he's like brushing his shoulder. And
oh my God.
Like,
what the fuck was that shoulder brush thing, dude?
Dude, I wanted him to dab right there. I was waiting for him to dab, and that would have been fucking weirdness complete, but he didn't.
He basically, sorry, dude, brushing your shoulder off is basically like he dabbed.
I dabbed.
And that was like another one of those moments.
The audience roared in my theater. I just got to tell you that the audience roared in my theater when that happened. That was like one of the highlights for my screening. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people clapped for mine too, and I'm like, this is the dumbest shit ever. This is so stupid. I'm sorry, dude.
I was on board. I was on board for the weird train, and it was perfect. It was hitting every weird beat I thought it would hit. So I was like, okay, let's go. Keep going.
Dude, when Finn's fighting fucking Phantasma or whatever, and he's all like, whatever he says, something Chrome Dome, and hits her.
Yeah.
Chrome Dome? Are you serious? I mean, like, he's the same dude who said "droid, please" in the last movie, so I guess he stayed in character. But I'm like, I fucking hate this character. Dude. He's so shitty. Oh God, I didn't need any. And like I felt like the movie was gonna end like 3 times, and it kept going, and I was just like, ugh, shit already, dude. Fucking let me take those guns and gun that fucking shit down. Oh, and then what's her name from Jurassic Park?
Laura Dern.
So did they have to cast her after Leia died, or was she gonna be in this movie from the beginning? I thought that was the most random shit.
I never thought about that.
She just all of a sudden took over and was like, nope, I'm head of the ship now. Oh, well, had they ever mentioned her in any of these other movies? And they were all trying to act like, oh, that's her? Oh my gosh, I expected her to look different and everything. And I'm like, I didn't know what to expect because I've never seen this character or heard of this character. And she's just suddenly on the ship and she's running the ship and then nobly sacrifices herself by warping the ship into the... And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, her character was so... Now, if you told me they added her after the fact and her whole arc is because Leia was gone and they needed somebody to pilot the ship, I mean, then you had to do something, right? But I thought that was just so... I'm like, who is this character? And I don't care about her arc with freaking Poe Dameron and shit. Like, it was just the weirdest movie, dude. It was really weird.
I'm telling you, it's fucking weird. I'm good with that.
All right, man. Well, you got your weird movie.
I didn't expect them to get a weird movie, but it's really fucking weird. I'm going to go see it again.
If it was a solid 20 minutes shorter, I would be a lot more forgiving on it. But I felt like, I felt like it was 2 acts too long. Where it just kept...
No, if they cut out the whole Vegas scene, I would have loved the movie.
Well, like, when she hyper drives, here's where it should have ended. After he killed Snoke, and then Kylo and Rey,
wait. All those... Let's just talk about this real quick.
Hold on, no.
Wait, let me finish. Whenever they killed Snoke, the weirdest way to kill somebody.
I thought it was cool because he was basically, because he basically was saying, you're going to turn the lightsaber on. He was reading his mind. He just didn't realize the thoughts he was reading were of the lightsaber sitting next to him, not the lightsaber in his hand. Like, dude, I thought that was freaking awesome.
I just thought it was so weird. It was kind of, to me, it was kind of comedic because it went through his stomach and he's like, and then you look, and of course they do the scene later where his body slides off the throne or his leg. I was just like, dude, it was so fucking weird. A weird way to kill someone who, from the last movie, I thought was going to be super important.
Yeah,
he was like the Emperor.
Yeah, I had no freaking idea that they were going to kill. But again, that just shows that arc is closed. I don't know. Are we ever going to find out? Is he ever going to... When are we going to find out how
I want to know why he's scarred. I want to know why he's scarred. Is he a Sith Lord? Like, they never explained any of that.
No, you're not getting any of it. Yep. I don't think we're getting any of it because there's only one movie left. And they got to wrap up all these tangents in this one movie. I don't think we're getting it.
Do we know it's one movie left, though?
Yeah, I think so because they're trilogies, and Rey said after this trilogy she's done. She's not signed up for anymore. So that's...
And they're going to do it.
They said that this completes her arc, so that's it. I think these 3 are hers. It's her arc, and that's it. So yeah, dude, it's super freaking weird. No, but that's like when they killed Snoke and he died like that. At that point, I was like, oh, that's just par for the course for this movie. This movie's so freaking went off the rails. So anyway, after they killed him and then they fought all those dudes together, and you were like, you know what? I'm not so sure. Is Kylo Ren good or bad?
Yeah.
And then he reaches his hand out to her. I thought that was where they were going to end the movie. So then you assume all the rebels got off their ship and they made it to the planet. Yada yada yada. So then they stick their hands out, and you don't know. Does she choose to go with him, or does she choose to go with him and he's actually good? Is he actually bad? What are his intentions? You don't know. Instead, she's like, no, I'm out of here. And they fight over the lightsaber, jumps in the pod, leaves, somehow ends up on the Millennium Falcon. Did they ever explain that? I don't know.
Nope.
She was just all of a sudden in the Millennium Falcon, right?
Well, no, I think she told him she would give a beacon where to pick her up or some shit like that.
Whatever with their fucking beacons. And then they're like, oh, and now, I guess we got to go invade the planet now. And I'm like, oh shit, that's right. They got AT-ATs and all the commercials. We got a whole other fucking act here, dude. So then they're sending AT-ATs to the fucking thing, and they got a huge Death Star. They shrunk another Death Star weapon. It's the Death Star again. So now we're gonna shoot a Death Star weapon, and now we got to send ships out. And you got the Asian chick. She gets hurt, and I'm like, what is going on? And then Han Solo has to show up. I'm just like, dude, this movie will not fucking end, dude. In end already. Oh my god. And something it finally ended, but it just took a long time. But so this is what I'm saying about these movies. If they're shorter, I'm a lot more forgiving. This movie was too much of a shit show for how long it was. You had way too much time to explain a lot of this shit, and instead you explained the wrong stuff. So I'm not going to forgive you for it. Sorry. I can't. All these reviewers are saying this movie's phenomenal and is great, and Star Wars is back or whatever that I hear every fucking time when these movies come out. They are wrong. This movie was a mess.
It's, again, all about perception, man. People will love what they love. Trust me.
Don't fucking try and get meta with me. What are you trying to do? Talking to me about things people will love what they love. What the hell are you talking about?
Well, no, dude, people really do love this movie. I mean, I could see it's weird. I mean, I keep saying it over and over, but it's fucking weird. Like, I need to go see it again just to make sure I really digested everything I saw. I watched anybody's reviews. There's a couple of people I like their reviews, and even they were they looked like they were in shock because they were like, I watched the Star Wars movie. I think it was a Star Wars movie. I'm pretty sure it's called Star Wars. I mean, they were like in shock because they weren't even sure what they watched.
Yeah, man, I don't think that's a good sign. I think when everybody's coming out like, what did I just watch? That's not a good sign. Now, I'm not saying I won't be able to appreciate some part. There were some parts of this movie I can appreciate, but for a whole 2.5 hour film that's supposed to be the middle part of a trilogy, and that was trying to clean up some of the mess from the last movie, I'm with Frank. I'm kind of checked out. There is no way I'm rushing out to see this third movie. I'm not fighting crowds. I'm not sitting in the front row. I'm not going to be worried about not having things spoiled for me. Who fuck cares? Like, oh, Luke died. Who freaking cares?
Abrams is coming back too, so it's not going to be any better than the first one.
Say that again.
J.J. Abrams is coming back for the third one anyway, so
really?
It's just going to be he's going to be the guy who gives people the basic, safe pussy Star Wars movie they were asking for, I guess. So I have no expectations of J.J. Abrams coming back, so that is in no way a draw. I honestly don't think I'm going to see the third one. I've seen every one of these movies in the theater so far, and I've only liked 3 of them. So why do I keep fucking doing this myself? And I think this is the one that's finally teaching me the lesson. Just fucking stop, dude. This isn't for me anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of, like I said, I'm not gonna rush out to see it unless, I guess I could get sucked into a hype train again, I suppose. But
I've been burned too many fucking times. I'm not falling for this shit anymore. They got me again with this fucker. They're telling me it's going to be so twisty and it's going to be so artsy. And it's like, no, it's not that interesting. You guys keep saying it's weird. It's not weird, man. It's awkward. It's offbeat as fuck.
No,
what it is.
It's weird. It's fucking weird.
It's not weird, man. It's just weird. It's got a shitty rhythm that you can't dance to. That's what it's got. It's not weird. It defies your expectations in kind of lame, basic ways. Again, it's nothing like, whoa, I really didn't see that coming. It's like, I didn't see that coming, but I'm not thrilled by it. I'm not excited by it. I don't think it's a particularly daring choice. I think they do defy your expectations, but not in ways that I find particularly interesting and not in ways I feel are particularly bold. It's just sort of there. It's like, okay, well, I'm glad you went left instead of right, but you're still going around the same circle over and over again. So what the fuck does it matter if you get to the same place through a different route, a route that's more, that's less intuitive, that's more awkward? That's what this movie is. It's just super fucking awkward, and you don't connect to it emotionally. I think that's why, if you look, the audience score for Justice League is way higher than the audience score for The Last Jedi, and of course the critical scores are lopsided in the opposite direction, because I think that you could comprehend Justice League and that you could emotionally connect to it, and this movie does not draw you in like that. It's just sort of fucking off. It's not cool, weird, trippy, experimental. It's just offbeat.
I disagree with you.
I totally agree with Frank.
I sat through the movie and I enjoyed myself. When we sat through Justice League, I was fucking bored. Like, there was nothing new there. The fact that they did so much weird shit, in my opinion, that's what I was like, they're not doing what I expected. Everything I wanted, they didn't do. Now, sometimes it missed and it was fucking off and I didn't particularly care for it. But for the most part, I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. I'm digging this. It's different. That's what I wanted. I didn't want a fucking Empire. I didn't want another fucking Jedi. I didn't want to watch something I've seen before.
Yeah, dude. But at the end of the movie, it's still Rey versus Kylo Ren, and the rebels are on the run from the Empire. I mean, like, that's what Frank's saying. You just end back at the same saccharine ending you would have had. It's the same shit. He dusted his shoulder off.
That's every space opera. That's every space opera. Though the sad thing is, the trilogies are always going to be the exact same as the thing before. When they try to do something different with the prequels, people fucking lost their mind. When they're trying to make it like some kind of political uprising, people didn't seem to be turned on by that film. So they're going back to.
I think you're oversimplifying that. If you're not a regular generic space movie, then you have to be the prequels, where you're talking about intergalactic trade routes. Like, there is a middle ground, dude. Okay.
Hey, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. That's
right. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was weird, but to me that was weird and went places that I was like, this is very interesting to me. I like, where are you going with this? I want to know. Not, hello, is Dr. So-and-so on the line? Oh, I can't hear you. Patch me through. Like, that's totally different. This movie, I was taken out of the movie because it was, I mean, I'm using the word weird, but maybe Mr. Fix and I are using the word weird in different terms. It was weird. I was like scratching my head. Like, did they actually just do that in this movie? Like, how did this make it through? How did this get written down? And panels of people at Disney saw this and they were like, oh, we gotta keep that in the movie. This is phenomenal. We gotta have her turn into an ice zombie and force fly back to the ship. This makes perfect sense. This is what we have to do. I can already see, we got the fucking, what do they call, the Han Solo was frozen in that shit? Carbonite. So we got Carbonite Han Solo toy. We're gonna have fucking ice zombie Mary Poppins, Princess Leia. I package it up like fucking, you can do a limited run where it's got like actual shiny crystals on it and put one.
How about
the fucking nerds are gonna...
Like Empire, this one, instead of ending on Hoth, beginning on Hoth, it ends on Hoth. Oh, but it's not snow, it's salt.
It's salt. They make a point of saying it's salt. Oh my god. But I will say this. Let me just add this in there real quick. This movie looked pretty good. I think that it was a pretty movie. Like, I thought Snoke's chambers looked really cool with the guards. I thought that the salt planet with the red dirt underneath and the ships that are dragging around, I thought that all looked really, really cool. And I thought the CGI was pretty so-so on this, which takes me back to my Marvel Cinematic Universe complaint, where people say the Marvel Cinematic Universe's effects aren't all that good. I'm sorry. I look at this movie. I don't think that it's any better or vastly better than the Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff. So again, and I said it in the Justice League podcast, show me these movies that have these incredible special effects that are better than the Marvel ones, because I don't see them. I'm seeing these other movies with tons of special effects, and I'm not seeing anything where I'm like, oh, that's blowing me away compared to the Marvel movie. I don't see it. Where are they? I don't get it.
Well, I actually appreciated the Infinity War trailer more on the big screen because you could actually see more detail on Thanos.
Yeah, I was glad to see that trailer too. I was hoping that would be the case, and I got it. So it was cool. It was nice.
Yeah, we got there. We missed, I think it was like a Jurassic Park one or some shit maybe we missed.
Yeah.
But I was afraid we missed Infinity War when we got there for that one. So that was good. So at the end, I will say that's one thing that they got some oh shits in the theater, and where the little kid runs out on the slave horse planet, the casino planet, and he, like, instead of grabbing the broom, it sort of like sucks into his hand.
Yeah, he used the force.
Yeah,
he's force sensitive.
A lot of people freaked out on that one, but which I was generally like, oh shit, the kid just used the force. I think that was a nice subtle drop at why they're gonna do it. I'm honestly not terribly excited to figure out that they're gonna have a bunch of freaking force kids fighting Kylo Ren or whatever. I don't know, but
I enjoyed the film.
I'm imagining all those kids like going around him and doing like a Care Bear stare or something.
Yes,
that's the kind of thing I'm picturing. But yeah, I think what it is because so many of the Force users have been killed over the course of this saga that it's got swole up basically in these two avatars of the two poles of the Force, and that I think that maybe they both get knocked out by the end of the last movie, and that basically decentralizes the Force, or maybe we're slowly seeing the Force start to spread again after this long period of absence.
Well, no, they actually make a point of saying that, where Luke has Rey and he tells her to reach out to the Force, and he basically says, do you notice how it's not exclusively to the Jedi? Like, the Jedi have always felt the Force was all about them and the Self was all about them, or the Sith were like, the Force is all about us, and it's like, no, the Force is everywhere. It's in everything. Like, it's not exclusive to it. I kind of like that point. Like, that was really, to me, almost like, you don't get to say who God is. Like, you don't get to pick who your God is.
I also like playing on that. I really liked how he was like, if you look at the history of the Jedi, he's like, it's a history of failure.
Yeah.
Like, we basically caused all this. We're the ones who sat idly by and didn't let it, they let the dark side grow to power. And it's just, so I really did like that, where he was like, who, and then Yoda was the same way. He's like, well, who cares if the Jedi go away? Let the text burn. It doesn't matter. Where it's the Jedi, the whole concept of the Jedi is, it means nothing. So if we're all gone, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that there's no hope. I liked all that. Unfortunately, that was a very tiny part of the movie.
Yeah.
A tiny part of the movie. So,
but I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Although in a way, they're kind of just shitting on what all these other movies have been about. Like, we've been made to think that being a Jedi is worth something, and this movie's like, nah, it's not that big a deal. It's like, what? But I thought they were the good guys, and no, it doesn't. So they're not special at all. That's kind of fucked up.
I just love the fact that I'd never thought of that from that point of view, where they were basically trying to say their view of it was the say all, know all. That's the way the Force is. I walked away from that. And I was like, wow, that's a really. I wish there was a little bit more of that in the movie, but for the most part, I was like, yeah, good, more weirdness. I'm good to go.
Yeah, like I said, I could have done with more of that stuff, more Luke. I want to know what he went through. Like I said, I would like to learn more of Luke's backstory, since they've built up to Luke being back in this movie so much.
Yeah.
I just don't think we got enough of his backstory.
My only disappointment is I really wish this was more of a Luke-centric film. I think I would have enjoyed that more. Like what was going through him.
I would have liked more Luke and Leia. I would have liked more Luke and Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And it's not just because I've got a hard on for Luke Skywalker because I grew up with those movies. It's because you've been telling me for fucking this whole time that Luke Skywalker's the shit. So he's the reason Kylo Ren's crazy. He's the reason that he vanished. They're doing everything to go find him. Like, okay, so now he's here. Let's fucking do something with it. And I just felt I don't think the execution was good, in my opinion. But
it was a little weak on that.
Too built up.
I don't know if I wanted him to go out in a blaze of glory though. That's where I have this weird. I don't know.
I would have liked a blaze of glory better than what we got. Sorry.
Yeah.
So show me why he was the last Jedi. Let the last Jedi go out in a fucking blaze of glory.
Well, no, he told you at the end he's not the last Jedi, and that kid at the end shows you he's not the last Jedi. Like their perception of what a Jedi is the last Jedi.
More like he's the last of the old school quote unquote religious, the religious old school Jedi. Yeah. He's the last one. It would have been nice to be like, whoa, this dude put himself. Although then I guess you could have the criticism that if he's that fucking powerful, he shouldn't have left to begin with because he basically fucked over everybody in the universe because he could have stopped this a long time ago.
But he was all whiny about it.
You could have criticized him either way, but I would have liked to have seen the Luke Skywalker. He was the first 3 movies. They're about the Skywalkers. Honestly, the first 6 movies are about the Skywalker. They're so important to this universe, and to me, you're kind of casting them aside a little bit. I mean, maybe it'll still turn out that Rey's a Skywalker. Although I kind of like the fact that they're like, your parents were junkies. Like they sold you for beer money. I like that. I want to do it in the theater. I heard people like, damn. I was like, I felt that, but I didn't say it. Yeah. But I heard a couple of people like, dude, that was rough. Like, because every time in these movies, when someone's special, it's like, oh, well, you're from this lineage of greatness. And they were like, they basically told her, you can be great, but you're coming from nothing. You're shit. Like, you're at the bottom. No one cares who you are. Your parents sold you for beer money. And I was just like, damn, that's rough. Like, yeah, dude. Like I said, I like Rey best when she's interacting with Kylo Ren. I think it's because I like Kylo so much. And yes, I know he's emo, or I like to call him Marilyn Solo.
Nice.
But I mean, he's actually got some emotion in these movies, and you can see why he's so fucked up. And this movie shows you even more why he's so fucked up. So when he's throwing tantrums and smashing his head in the elevator and freaking losing his mind, just like he did in the first one, where he was throwing tantrums and they're all like, "Holy shit, this guy's not stable." I like that because everybody else is just so blah and so saccharine in these movies that I like that he's just freaking all over the place. He's completely fried. But again, I don't get into it. But so that's why anytime Rey is interacting with him, good stuff happens. When he's talking about, I know you can see, I know you know who your parents are. Say it. Say who your parents are.
Yeah.
You know they just like, sold you and like, dude, like, that's freaking that's awesome. That's good stuff right there. That's good character building. And there's just not nearly enough of that. There's weird horse race freak allegories and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
No, though I do want to thank them for putting in Yoda in actual puppet Yoda, not CG Yoda. That was I got that was a little throwback for me right there.
Yeah, I wish he could have let Luke set the temple on fire. It's like, holy shit, dude.
I just love the way Yoda came in. He was just like a pimp. He's like, sit your ass down. Like, just quit your bitching. I love that, how he told him, I miss you, Luke, because he was almost like a little bitch. He's like, God, I miss your little whiny ass. I enjoyed that. I really, like, when Yoda came out, dude, people were generally clapping in the theater. Hooting and hollering when Yoda popped up. So that was pretty cool.
I thought you said these aren't our movies. You're getting these big reactions from Chewie and fucking Yoda.
No, but those people there, because I think those, I don't know, I'd have to look and see who they were younger than us.
Well, let me tell you,
because there was a lot, dude. My theater was full of just young dudes.
In a decade when Force Finn shows up and you get a freaking standing ovation, then I'll submit to you that these movies were not for me and they're for a new generation. Until then, they're going to keep. Listen, let me finish.
Wait. There's a lot of member berries.
Until then, they're going to keep showing Yoda and Chewbacca, and people are going to still be fucking fist bumping and going, yeah, Yoda and Chewbacca, because those are the good movies.
Yeah,
nobody's going to be fist bumping at fucking Chrome, whatever her name was. Nobody gives a shit about her or any of these other characters, in my opinion.
Well, they're all about member berries, so.
All right, well, I would say I give it a solid 9 out of 10. How about you guys?
I would agree.
Anyway, all right. Well, so I guess that's it.
Well, let me do a quick speed round.
Okay.
R.I.P. Admiral Akbar.
Yeah, dude, come on, man. My guy, Admiral Akbar.
Yeah, he went
way to go. He couldn't even say it's a trap before he fucking got killed. These movies are completely lost, dude. They have no clue what the fuck they're doing.
I could have done without the egregious cameos of R2-D2 and C-3PO. Those guys, they were about as bad in this movie as they were in the prequels.
Yep.
No, actually, I wish the hacker was like Lando. I was really hoping it was going to be something Lando Lando related.
People really want Lando to get something in these movies, and they're just not giving it to him. I don't know if they're holding back for that last one. If he's going to be the guy who's going to be the torchbearer now that they've killed off everybody who's related to Skywalkers through circumstance or through narrative. But yeah, they keep holding back on poor Lando.
Yeah, because I really thought when they got to the Vegas, I thought Lando was going to be like the owner or some shit. Like I was like, oh, please tell me there's going to be a Lando moment.
That would have been an easy high five, and they fucked it up. Hold on, let me add to that real quick though. Like if Benicio del Toro was not in the next movie, and you spent all that time in this movie to literally give that guy an entire fucking arc and have him turn to the dark side or fucking to the New Order. No.
He wasn't a dark side. He was just an arms. Well,
I meant the New Order. They paid him off. Yep. He was wearing their fucking suit there at the end, all proudly, as he sold those people out. If he's not in the third movie, I'm telling you, what the fuck did you go through all of that trouble to introduce that character? Same thing with the Asian chick. If she has got to be in the next movie now, if you don't, you spent so much fucking time with that character in this movie. If you don't have her in this next movie, you're proving how much time you wasted in this film, in my opinion. But anyway, go ahead.
I like Benicio del Toro's character. I want to know though, how the fuck did he know that what the plan of the rebels were?
I think because they were on the phone or something, weren't they? When they were in hyperspace.
Oh, okay. So he listened in and then sold them out. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. When they were telling him to hurry up, they were telling him to hurry up.
I think they could have showed him sitting in there with them, but only she and Finn were on screen. Because I thought the same thing. I'm like, wait, how the hell did he know? And I'm like, oh, he was on the ship with them. He just wasn't in a frame. So I guess he was just sort of slightly off frame listening. Yeah, it was super whack.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad indiscretion there. Then that does not reflect well on these rebels.
But that's a twist. It's a twist.
It's a fucked up twist, yeah. I did find it funny that anytime you needed a heavy stare from somebody, it came from Billy Lord. It's like they just did their best to get Billy Lord into every single scene possible without actually bringing any dialogue.
Who's Billy Lord?
That's Carrie Fisher's daughter. She's that lieutenant chick that's always looking at like Poe Dameron with like, she's like the one who's always helping him with stuff and everything, but she doesn't actually do dialogue.
Okay, yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, they did a lot of scenes of her just looking back at somebody. You're completely correct.
I'm not sure that I'm on board with Puppet Yoda because I didn't realize how funky that was going to look until it showed up on screen. It kind of made me a little wistful for the CGI one, to be honest with you.
No, you're just being spiteful now.
I liked Frank Oz's cameo in there. I thought that Yoda was well used. The visual was like, the puppet was kind of fucking with me, to be honest with you. I did like that they did try to do something with Laura Dern. If they're going to have her get snuck in there to replace Carrie Fisher, at least they gave her something to do, a lot of things to do actually. And I like that it gave us a better sense of who Poe Dameron is and his failings as a hero by showing that he can't see the larger game. So I thought that was reasonably well handled, even though I wish that they could have chopped everything about this movie down some because it was way too fucking long. I did like the Asian gal, Rose Tycho, except for the fact that she managed to fall in love with Finn in like 16 hours, to the point where she's willing to sacrifice her life for him. She loves him that hard in like, the span of time it took them to have the slowest chase ever. So
yeah, I did not see that coming in the slightest, but I was like, wait, why are they kissing? Like I did not have the slightest inkling that was going down.
I don't ever want to see Captain Phasma again. I'm tired of them trying to tell me this chick is going to be somebody. They've fucked it up twice now. And the fact that Finn, of all people, kicks her ass, you're just done. He didn't even have help. Yeah. I do have to point out, though, that as much as we could have done without his arc, at least he was way less annoying in this one than he was in the first one. You got to give him that.
Who, Finn?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was definitely less annoying, but I mean, that's not saying much, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I did have fun with General Hux. I liked that he almost capped Kylo when he was knocked out, but it did remind me that why didn't Rey do that, too? She could have saved us all a lot of trouble by killing him, since she was obviously awake and on her way before Kylo was. Yeah.
I don't see her as a killer type.
Well, she's going to be, they killed a lot. She's killed a lot.
Oh, no, this movie was
doing a lot of killing right before you just said she's not going to do some killing. So that's
the offense. That's straight murder, dude. Somebody's out. She just saw Luke talk about how he was about to murder somebody in their sleep. I don't see her as the type. That kind of seemed to offend her a little bit. So I don't see her doing it because it's an opportunity.
Right. No, I think Frank's just saying that she could have ended the whole fucking thing right there, and she didn't.
We can say that about all kinds of movies. I mean, come on now.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Go ahead, Frank. Finish up.
Frank, hello? Frank, we lose your buddy?
Hello? No, dude, he's doing that. He's doing the shtick from the beginning of the movie.
Shut the fuck up.
You're sitting there, hello, hello. He's on the other end just laughing his ass off. He's doing the shtick from the movie. I'm telling you. Hello?
Hello. Hey, so what's the next movie we're going to see after this? What's the next comic movie that comes out?
Black Panther.
Is Black Panther really?
In February. Yeah.
Oh,
in February.
I didn't realize it was that early in the year. Wow. I didn't realize it was 2 months.
What else is left? Well, for this year, we're done. Next year's Black Panther, Infinity. Does DC have anything coming out? Aquaman, right?
Jesus, I don't know, man. That's a Frank question.
You'd have to, yeah. I was gonna say you'd have to ask him. That's the only thing I can think of that's coming. Oh, the reboot of Hellboy. I know y'all don't care, but I'm gonna see that with Fryho. That's about it, dude. I can't think of anything else really off the top of my head except for the Han Solo movie. So is this gonna turn you off from going to go see the Han Solo movie?
I had no real give a shit about Han Solo movie before that. I think we talked about that where we're gonna see the Kessel Run and shit. Yeah. I have no interest in seeing any of that.
So that's a cable movie for you?
I guess maybe cable. I don't really watch movies on TV anymore. Like The Force Awakens is probably on TV all the time. I've never even come across it. I never see it. So basically, if I don't see it in the theater now, I'm probably not gonna see it.
Wait, let's go see The Disaster Artist, man. I really want to go see that.
Okay, we can go check that out.
Yeah, and then I want to see Shape of Water.
Me too. I think that looks freaking awesome.
I can't find any theaters that are showing it though. I was looking. The only one I can think of is like River Oak. Did we really lose him?
I have no idea.
Did he try calling you back or anything? Or did he just like walk away from the mic?
Probably lost the recording and just suicided himself.
He thought he lost, like last time, just lost his shit.
Well, I'm here clacking like keyboarding. Is that you or him?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay.
Give me like 5 minutes, okay, guys?
Oh, okay. There he is.
Oh, you got diarrhea? Was he in the middle of a point when he left? Dude, I'm so fucking confused right now.
I think he was, dude.
Dude, this is just like Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2.
No. We are reenacting the Star Wars right now. Let's just get fucking weird. So we're going to go see Disaster Artist, Shape of Water. I can't think of anything else. Though, I kind of want to see The Room again before I see Disaster Artist.
Seeing as I've never seen them, I'm down with that.
I've seen The Room, dude. It's fucking horrible. I think it'd be more fun with y'all there because I sat watching it with just one person and we both just kind of sat there and I might have dozed off twice because the movie's really bad, dude. It's really bad.
Is it long? Is it like hour and a half or something?
About an hour. Yeah, it's not that long. It didn't feel that long. But now
indie film, I'm down to watch it. Okay.
A lot of the stuff I hear now is like, no, you're supposed to watch it with your buddies drinking beers and like literally laughing out loud and talking during the movie. Okay, like that's the way you enjoy it. So yeah, I just don't. Somebody told me
it's supposed to be like you were saying. It's supposed to be like the worst movie ever, right?
Yeah, that's how I've heard it mentioned over and over and over. Shape of Water. Is there anything else you want to see, dude?
Well, I'm curious what the next DC movie is. Like this next Batman movie supposed to come out next year that doesn't even have a fucking. Do we even know who Batman's going to be, or is that 2019?
They're going to push all that stuff back, dude. As bad as Jet
Wonder Woman 2. That's too soon, right? For Wonder Woman 2 to come out.
I think that's all. No, they did an Aquaman movie. I know that.
Is it? Do they?
And I think the Flash was supposed to get a movie.
I think the Aquaman movie's still coming out this year.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get a movie. He was enough. He stood out enough that they're like, let's give him a movie. I don't know if the Flash movie's going to come out.
He was already going to have. Like I think they were already shooting. Okay. I think that movie's because what's her fuck from the blonde
Mira?
Chick? Mira. I think she's already like in that movie, so that movie's being done already. So that's got to be coming out. I think they're already shooting that shit. Flash. I think they still don't have a director or anything like that. So that movie can't come out. There's no way they're going to completely. They're still having to like get a director, get a script, shoot the movie, and then release it this year. They can get these things out pretty fucking fast, but I don't think that one's happening.
Yeah, don't particularly care for that one.
No, I don't really have any interest in any of these movies. Like, dude, don't oversell how I felt about JLA. I thought that because it was so short, I'm like, well, you know what? It was an action movie, so it could have had the fucking Rock and Jason Statham in it for all I fucking care. Like, it was just an action movie with a bunch of punchy, and then it was over. Bad CGI, punchy, and it was over. I'm like, okay, cool. In no way is like, man, where are they gonna go from here? Oh man, how are they gonna beat Darkseid? Like, don't. No, sir. Like, that is not where I am with this film.
Oh god, you seem to be like, you seem to be a backer of the DC.
No. It didn't like pretend to be some giant fucking political stating religious statements, this huge epic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna take 2 hours and 45 minutes, and we're gonna show you how Superman's Jesus Christ, and it's the downfall of Christ, and he gets crucified by Batman, and the fucking man turns on God, and then, you know what I mean? Like, and then we're gonna have Al Qaeda and like, dude, yeah, remember they've had the fucking Al Qaeda fucking kill Jimmy Olsen and shit. Like, remember, dude, I'm not making this up. This shit actually happened in a movie.
You're right.
That's why I'm like, I don't mind JLA, because JLA it had none of that stupid shit in it. It was just a dumb fucking superhero movie. I'm like, okay, well, that was a dumb superhero movie. Wow, you didn't tell me there was no Jesus allegory. Fucking right off the bat, you're better than the other movie was.
Do you think they're gonna do they're gonna release the Snyder cut?
They're not, are they?
I don't know. I keep seeing all these petitions. Like, people want a Snyder cut.
No, they're not. No, I'm sure people do.
Because apparently
all the weird fucking.
Well, Darkseid actually appears in the Snyder cut.
That's fine. It's all these weird fucking people who like Batman and Superman. They all fuck them. I hope they fucking put that shit in a bonfire and they live stream and setting it on fire. That's what I want to see. I will go fucking see that shit in IMAX 3D. I want to see the bonfire where they set all these stupid fucking shitty DC movies on fire. I want there to be a scene
You'd pay for that, right?
Where they're holding up the reel going, oh, there's that scene that... No, not going to tell you. And they fucking throw that shit in the fire. And all these people dressed up as like Joker still from the fucking Ledger movies who love all this sadistic bullshit. And be like, no, Snyder.
All I hear doing is, I'd pay $1 for... What's that from RoboCop?
I'd buy that for $1.
That's all I keep hearing over and over in my head.
Oh my god, it's so shitty, dude.
Well, we'll see.
Frank gotta have fucking sudden diarrhea, dude, because he was literally still making points when he left.
I think he was in mid-sentence.
Yeah, I think he was. And my neck, and he was just gone.
And I really thought for a second, he's like, is he doing the shtick from the beginning of the movie? Like, is this a new Frank tactic? Like, I'm going to Frank you in a new way. Like, I'm just going to stop talking mid-sentence.
He probably did that 5-10 minutes ago.
I like Oscar Isaacs. I thought Poe Dameron was fine. The problem with this entire movie, though, is the humor doesn't work that great, and it's way too contemporary humor. This is a series that's kind of been built on being kind of classicist, and it's for people to be doing like internet meme type shit, or worse yet, old bit from like Jack Benny days and stuff. It doesn't feel right. It's not good humor, and it's bad, and it's anachronistic based on what we know of the universe. You know, it's weird for them to have gotten so slack just over the span of this new batch of movies. So that's an issue for me. My issues with Daisy Ridley and John Boyega's characters is that they're just fucking bland. They're not characters that I would show up for in movies. I think that they're basically... I think
is somebody drinking something?
Yeah, clearly.
My bad.
They can't carry the movies. They don't have the personality to carry the movies. I'm not going to show up for them in the movies. I appreciate that the Star Wars universe has tried to be more inclusive. I applaud that they're giving more storylines to women. Women really drove this new movie. I wish that the characters were there, though. The personalities aren't really there. I do think that ultimately Mark Hamill stole the show. I do think that he had a lot of personality. He did have too much anachronistic humor. He did have kind of I can see that character progressing to that state of being that cantankerous, but you know, it still felt a little, the specific dialogue, the specific acts felt like some dude who didn't try hard enough. It felt kind of like what if John Landis's kid had written a Star Wars movie, you know? It's like, dial that back a little bit. But I do think that Luke Skywalker was cool in this movie. I enjoyed him. I enjoyed Carrie Fisher in this movie. I do realize now, though, that to the degree that I liked Kylo Ren in the last movie, I'm just not into him anymore because they kept teasing a redemption arc that I did not want to see. And then when he does make it clear that he's going to be the bad guy, he's still the gross asshole that's on Reddit and these days, that's on 4chan these days. He's definitely an MRA. He's definitely the guy who's going to tell Rey, you're a piece of shit. Nobody cares about you. You're the child of junkies, but I care. I'm the one who cares. I'm the one who can make you something special. He's a total fucking creep. Hate that fucking asshole. Ready for him to die now. He's had his story. I'm done with him, his ass. But it's just another reason why I don't want to come back and see those movies. That might be everything. I really appreciate probably my second favorite character was the Asian chick, but she didn't have a lot to do with it. It was very interesting. I really did like that they tried to have some social justice type shit in there, but I think that they're just going to get fueled with people who are criticizing Star Wars because they didn't handle it very well and because the movie's just so fucking long and so fucking boring. Oh, the one other thing, too, I wanted to point out is that I think that Star Wars is too simplistic. They don't have enough politics within them to make it interesting for me as an adult, and because basically both sides in the political spectrum can claim to be the rebels versus the New Order or what the fuck ever. The only thing that does make it clear that the Jedis are Democrats is the way they roll over and think that, oh, it's their turn, so we're just going to roll over and let them do whatever the fuck they want to. Clearly, Jedis are fucking Democrats, especially centrist Democrats. So I had to get political because it wouldn't be a show with me on it without that.
Thanks, buddy.
You good?
Yeah, and one thing I have to add is that just like the last movie, this universe feels so tiny. And I know like they got hyperdrive and shit, but like I don't feel like there's ever this problem in the Star Wars movie or in the old Star Wars movies or in the Star Trek movies where you make space feel so tiny and they just feel so small. Like this whole movie took place in the span of like 18 hours, right? Because that's how long they had to run out of fuel. And I'm like, dude, I feel like you're like a stone's throw away from each other. Like it's so bizarre. It's impressive, honestly, how tiny these movies feel for a movie called Star Wars that take place over 3 2.5 hour movies. But they did it again. It's very strange. Anyway, that's all I got. Let me tell you something. New Order is definitely a bunch of Republicans, and I thought that my favorite scene was when Poe Dameron, who is definitely libertarian, said that taxation is theft. That's all I got, guys. Had to get political with it.
Sorry, I don't think the movie's for me anymore, and I'm checking out now. I don't need to be in that audience, and I don't want to be one of the cantankerous old assholes who's going to jump on a podcast and bitch about the movie. So I'm out. I'm not doing the next one.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay,
Oh, no,
guys.
sorry. I was like, oh, by the way, I do hope that but for the next trilogy, we'll get the Fox fanfare.
Oh, since Fox is back in the fold or whatever?
Yeah, which is fucking a heinous thing to have happen. I'm not a fan of that shit at all. It doesn't, whatever Bless is as a geek, doesn't make up for all 15,000 people losing their fucking jobs yet. But hey, at least put the fanfare back on Star Wars.
At least Wolverine can fight Captain America now.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Oh, joy. Happy fucking day. I'll be doing some fucking backflips over the fucking muties all over the fucking place. Mutie fucking scum.
It's Spider-Man all over again. That's why they're going to go ahead and kill off Captain America and Iron Man, because they don't need him anymore, because we get to go to mutant Spider-Man movies. This fucking sucks, dude. So, hey, Frank, when's the next DC movie coming out? We were talking about what's the next movie to see. Obviously, it's Black Panther in February, right? And then we want to see whatever the fucking Creature of the Black Lagoon one is.
What?
Shape of Water.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll check that on video. I don't need to see it in the theater, although I've heard some good things about it.
I think it looks fascinating. I think after that stupid fucking mummy bullshit, I can't believe how you couldn't have your dick hard for that one. This movie looks totally... I'm very intrigued by it. Anyway, but so does DC have anything on this? Is Aquaman it
Aquaman, Wonder Woman 2, that's it right
in
now.
2018?
No, I think Aquaman's the only thing out in 2018. I think Wonder Woman's not out until 2019 or so.
Christ almighty.
I think it's coming out late 2019.
What a fucking disaster.
Well, they're fucking in retreat, you know? None of this shit's worked out that great. They're going to make a Batman movie. That's already in the works, but that's what they got. Batman, Wonder Woman, and the Aquaman movie they were already making.
Good lord.
They're not making a sequel to Jelly?
Not right now, no. It's on the slate.
Yeah, dude. I think that they should just stop. I think if they just said, we're going to do nothing but solo movies, we're not going to try and do a fucking, fucking just start from scratch. I think that right now is their best thing. Get rid of everybody. Get rid of Cavill, bring Godot back, and I guess you're kind of locked into mimosas. Jason Mimosas.
Well, people like Jason Momoa in the Aquaman, from what I hear, so I liked him okay too. So, you know, he's the thing that works. There are things that don't work. They still got one more movie on Cavill's contract. People want him to come back. I got no problem with that. You know, we'll see what happens.
Super fucking weird. All right, guys. Well, like I said, let's talk a little more next week and see if we can get there and hang out.
We'll catch up. Well, see, I recorded a bit on Dark Universe with Ryan earlier in the week. I thought that I was going to dump that out on Friday, and I just didn't have the juice. I still don't have the juice. That's why this is going to be fucking basic when I drop this. But I'd like to talk to you guys either as a pair or individually about the Dark Universe in the near future. And I want to do a one song each for George Michael's anniversary of his death too, if at all possible.
Oh man, I had an idea for one song each. It wasn't a Christmas one song each.
I had an idea.
I actually bought a DVD of his videos specifically so we could kick back and watch videos and talk about his shit. Hopefully around the time of Christmas time, since that was the anniversary of his death.
Well, I was talking to Frank about doing a Pitch Wars.
What?
Remember, I saw this show where they do this thing called Pitch Wars, where basically you come up with an idea and everyone gives a pitch for their version of it.
Like as a new podcast?
No, just like the one songs each bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like a new type podcast.
Well, yeah.
Well, no, we could roll it into Rolled Spine or something. Just like we could do one, just the tip as Rolled Spine too.
Yeah, but it's just like you just throw your pitch of, we'll let Frank pick a subject and then you kind of think about it and you do your pitch of what the movie would be or the song, whatever the character would be, something like that.
Oh shit, I don't think we did.
Giving away free ideas.
At mail too. Hold on, I just realized we got a little bit of mail real quick.
Okay, go quick.
Twitter, Facebook, type loving type shit from 108 Sage, Ali Bats, and Charlton Hero, Coffee and Comics Blog, Comic Reflections, Darren Ruth Sutherland, David Golding Artist, Debache, Dead as Hell, Dr. G Nerdologist, 40 Clam Splain, Guatan Shioran, Gene Hendricks, The Hammer Strikes, Joe Crawford, Keith G. Baker, King Size Comics, Giant Size Fun Podcast, which I think Kyle Benning has just gone back to using his name for that, Longbox Crusade, Randy Caldwell, Ryan, Count Druncula Daily, Siskoid, Star Wars News, Tom Computer Blue, Trekker Talk, Warlord Worlds, and We're All Monsters. We got a follow Friday from Comic Reflections. Adam Blackmoon gave us Monday Madness and Team Thursday. Sean McLaughlin said, "How did I miss Rolled Spine?" Michael Siskoid Albert wrote on episode 0, which was the Jodorowsky. "It's the episode where you were absolutely wrong about Jodorowsky's Dune. Loved it." Unearthly Visions wrote, which is Grant Richter. I'm not sure what name he's going by at this point on the Twitters. He spoke of Star Wars, The Force Awakens. Rey is a Mary Sue. Bring it, brother. Everybody embracing their joy is the kind of positivity we need. Debache on the same episode. The backlash begins. It's hard to argue with many of the points you chaps are making. While I enjoyed the film, I recognize it for the nostalgia pastiche that it is. The Irritable Shag wrote of episode 7. I apologize to AHA. I'm about 30 minutes in the episode and felt the need to comment. Also in honor of Frank and my deeply spiritual romance, I've decided to comment with the level of kindness and apathy toward others' feelings that Frank uses in his comments. Frank didn't like John Wick, you contrarian son of a bitch. The movie is just over-the-top dumb fun and everyone loves it for for that. You just have to be the opposite of everyone else. Shut the hell up and just enjoy Ted Theodore Logan killing people. Jeez. Pains me to admit, but Mac and I are on the same wavelength. The Mummy trailer was awful and appears to follow the Suicide Squad formula beat for beat. I made the same comments when I saw it, so I ranted more about the parallel helicopter crashes. Y'all didn't like Star Trek Beyond? Are people in Texas just dumb? Again, don't blame me, just channeling Frank. It was the first real Star Trek movie since Undiscovered Country. The 2009 Trek reboot was fun, but Into Darkness was an abomination and made no fucking sense. Watch the honest trailers and how it should have ended for Into Darkness and then tell me that movie made one lick of sense. Into the music selection now. Couldn't care less. Again, channeling Frank. Love you guys. Mean it. Any comments on that?
The most part, any part where he's talking shit about you, I agree with.
Siskoid wrote, yeah, right, the show should be called Unpopular Opinions. Kyle Benning wrote, Alice in Chains is the best from any era. Pearl Jam is my second favorite. Deeper cuts on their later albums are pretty great. Pearl Jam's Live at the Gorge 3 concert set makes for some great listening for a long cross-country drive.
These comments are like 2 years old, aren't they?
They're quite old. Siskoid wrote, I've heard a number of Rogue One reviews by now, but none that were as critical as the CG Resurrections as it was until now. Fight the power. I liked it. I would rank it as you did, Frank, objectively at least. Subjectively, it's probably my second favorite, but the original teaser for it was the superior experience. I would watch that regularly, and I'm in no hurry to see the full-length feature again.
Again, man, it's like I said on Twitter, the initial reviews for all these Star Wars movies are fucking outrageous, dude. Everybody always loves these fucking movies, and then you get 3 to 6 months out, and people are like, oh, it was okay, and then like you get a year out, and people are like, oh, I hated that movie. But you go to any comment section that discusses The Force Awakens now, and they're just like, oh, that movie sucked. That movie's horrible. I told you the movie was terrible. And I'm like, you the same motherfuckers that when that movie came out were saying that it was the greatest Star Wars movie of all time. And it's like, whereas I mean, when we did our review, since you're reading some comments from that, we were super fucking critical of that movie, and we were kind of blah on Rogue One. And when both those movies came out, it was the same shit. Rogue One, oh, this movie's so great, it's so dark, and and The Force Awakens, oh, Star Wars is back, this is what we wanted, oh, the prequels sucked, we love Star Wars again, oh, and it's the same shit. It's the same thing with this movie. It's the exact same thing with The Last Jedi.
I would say that of the new movies, Rogue One's the best. Still.
Okay, great. I mean, honestly, I think Rogue One's kind of forgettable. I kind of forget it even happened a lot of time because I don't know, just more saccharine stuff in that one. But again, the ending was pretty dark. But the reason I like Rogue One is because remember how we mentioned that episode, how it should have ended where Vader killed all of them, where you think they all survive and then Vader chews through them all at the end. Unfortunately, I've written and produced and acted out that ending in my head so many times, I have to remind myself that wasn't in the actual movie.
Well, it's the better movie. And that's the one sequence you watch from Rogue One again and again is Vader pulling a Jason Voorhees. What the fuck is going on in the background over here? You hanging like Christmas ornaments and this shit, dude? What the fuck's going on over here? Is Fixit even here anymore?
The noise is coming from him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I think that he's like just like walked away and we're just like hearing shit in the background.
Yeah, when you said hanging ornaments, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he's fucking hanging ornaments, which just sounds like the most Mr. Thicka thing I've ever heard in my entire life. No, you know what it is? It's maracas.
he's like stroking maracas against his beard is what we're hearing. Keith G. Baker wrote of Rogue One, loves some track politics, JFC, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, lambasted. What y'all do in your rolled spine safe space is your business. Do what you like. As far as not safe space, notice you didn't say it wasn't business though. Hashtag moneymaker. So,
what?
That was all related to us having sexual relations with one another or something along those lines.
Oh yeah.
Randy Caldwell wrote, I pretty much agree with you about The Force Awakens, but I still prefer it over all of the other Star Wars movies. Not a fan. I mean, they're basically what Fixit said outside of Empire. Can't fault you for that opinion. I liked Rogue One, but it was physically dark, visually dark, and tonally, but it was what I expected. I'm a Trekkie. Star Wars is fantasy. Trek can pretend to be science fiction as long as there is no technobabble. Empire was the best of them all, but I hated large amounts of the dialogue. Of course, Han Solo shot first. Yep, The Force Awakens was a remix. And yeah, I want another good Star Trek movie. So maybe this Quentin Tarantino thing will work out. It'd be nice.
Motherfucking Klingons.
And Kyle Benning, final comments. I can get behind the bashing of Black Hole Sun, but you're wrong about the Bond theme. It's You Know My Name and it's awesome. Regarding Mother Love Bone, the lead singer was Andrew Wood, inspiration for AIC's song Wood. He was Lane's best friend, died of heroin OD, and then Temple of the Dog was formed as a tribute, taking members of Soundgarden and joining the remnants of MLB. They had a demo tape of Vedder, brought him in as backup. He hit it off with the guys and formed Pearl Jam with the guys from Mother Love Bone. No death of Andrew Wood, no Pearl Jam. Stone Gossard and Jeff Ament were the MLB guys that were in Temple of the Dog and founded Pearl Jam with Vedder. It's weird that this old episode was scheduled for re-release because we were talking about this last weekend. I have nothing to add, but good comment.
Yeah. That was weird timing.
I think we're finally done. Yay!
Yeah. All right, love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Good night.
Bye.
Bleep blurp, levels gained, bleep blurp. Mixer, bleep blurp.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Whoa, calm down, dude. Holy shit. You're already going off on us. Jesus. Fucking nerd raging son of a bitch.
So we'll make it a quickie. Just the tip.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Marbles and Barrels podcast. I'm Illegal Machine, and with me is...
Diablo Frank.
And Mr. Fix-It.
And today we're going to talk about The Last Jedi of Star Wars Odyssey. So what episode is this?
9.
9? Yeah.
No, 8.
No, it's 9.
Wow.
No, it is 8. It is 8. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
It's three triplets.
Roman numerals are hard. Leave us alone.
Well, you kind of have to include Rogue One. That is the very first one.
Watch me not include Rogue One. What is Han Solo going to be fucking episode 12 or something?
I don't know. I'm not getting that close to watch.
Anyway. Alright, so this movie came out, and I think it's pretty much universally regarded as the greatest feature film of all time. No film ever, like we can just stop making movies again, right? Pretty sure we can stop that. It's a love story, it's a horror movie, every genre rolled into one. This is it. Per the reviews.
Your assumption is correct.
Right. At least that's what I've been led to believe.
Well, what I've seen so far is the critics love it. It's a darling of the critics, but fans aren't exactly ecstatic about it.
Alright, well, so how did you guys go see it?
Oh, hold on one second. I'm just... Y'all's levels are shitty. Hold on a minute.
Well, I was led to believe everything was fine before we started recording.
Well, I hear you okay, but that doesn't mean it's recording okay.
I think we all know that's the case at this point. We're years into this. We know that just because you can hear us does not mean we're recording all right. Do you want to take a second to pause and listen back to what we've done so far? Hello?
Hold on.
I heard popping. Are you on the
Okay, talk.
Talk.
There you are. Okay, hold on a second.
Hello.
Talk.
Okay, now we're good. Yeah.
Alderaan.
We might wanna you guys just want to start over again because I think what it was is the USB button had been hit when I was trying to turn the brake off, and so your levels were garbage. And then I went and checked it on Amplified, and it still sounded like shit. So, plus we're not doing Marvel Superheroes. This will probably be a rolled spine.
I just want him to start singing karaoke. What's
Don't you forget about me.